Hey everyone, Michelle with Silver Snake Designs, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to make these lovely flowers. We're actually going to be doing a 6-petaled flower and not a 5-petaled flower, but regardless of whether you use 6 petals or 5 petals, it'll still be like the same way of joining and everything. So it's very, very easy to do. I do have these petals. If you don't have these types of petals at home, I do have these in my Etsy shop, and I will link to them below. It's very easy to do. These are opaque black. These are semi-transparent pink, but they look more like of a raspberry color, I guess. And then this is a semi-transparent, like milky, opaly white color. And when I did these, I tried different beads. Here's the back of the black one. This is the very first one that I did. And then here's the back of the white one where I added seed beads because I wasn't sure if I was going to maybe use these flowers in a project. Kind of wanted something to do, you know, maybe somehow attach it. But I mean, I don't see why I couldn't just go down the holes of the petals themselves. I suppose if I wanted it to sit more flat, I can do that. And then if I wanted to stand up above the beadwork, it almost acts like a little pedestal for the flower to sit on. And then I did a 5-petaled one and also did a base at the bottom. And I love that one because it looks like a cherry blossom. The size beads that I used varied depending. So in this one I used size 8 and PF Toho PF 557, which is galvanized aluminum. And then I did a 552 and the little pink 15s. And because the Toho beads, especially the galvanized ones, have more of a coating on them, I think it looked really good with the size 15s sitting in between the size 8 seed beads. And then when I did this one, I did a Toho size 8 in blue, and I did a Toho 15 in color 00164. And because if you see, these are both Toho size 8s, you can see a size difference that the galvanized, because it's got the coating on it, it's a little bit larger than your size 8s. So these little 15s were able to sit in, and these 15s were able to sit in. However, here I used a Miyuki size 8, and if you look, you can see a big difference between the Toho size 8 and the Miyuki size 8. And I think because I was using the 6 petals on these two, it was easier for them to lay how they were supposed to lay. But because you have to keep your tension tight, I used the Miyuki, and I used these unknown size 11 pink seed beads, and that was able to pull. When I did the Miyukis along with the Toho green ones, but the greens were just getting lost and you could really see the thread, and I kind of wanted to hide the thread. So depending on what brand size 8 you use and what brand 15 or you use, you may have to go with a size 11 depending on the brand size 8 you do use. So with that being said, getting that out of the way, tension has to be tight. Let's get started. I'm going to move I got this mat board because I really wanted to I thought they looked so good on the mat board, so that's why I had that there. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to get started. Now, we're using the 6 petals in black, and I really wanted the pink on the black, so I thought that was really awesome. So I am using the unnamed size 11 silver-lined pink beads. I'm using a black opaque seed bead. This is Miyuki 401, I think, which is just the typical opaque black. And then I'm using the Miyuki 80 in color 642. I am using white Fireline because I think it will show up a lot better against the black. So if you're going to do this, I highly recommend black Fireline. And I highly recommend a 6-pound test or higher, because you really want your tension to be tight with this. One thing I like about these petals too is the way you look at them. They have a deep, like concave kind of feel to them, and they're slightly curved. And if you flip one over, there's a more of a shallow, and so you could tell that they definitely have a front and a back to them. I like it with the more deeper impression. So I've made sure that my beads are going the same way. And now this is very easy to do. You're going to pick up 2 petals, just like that. We're going to start by taking our needle through the back and out the front of our first petal, just like that. And then I'm going to hang on to my tail best I can. I'm going to pick up a size 8 seed bead, and I'm going to go down the front of the second petal. I'm going to come back up. So you're basically, in essence, looping this around. I'm going to come back up, the back to the front of the first petal, and I'm going to go through the seed bead, and I'm going to go out the back of the second petal, just like that. Then I'll pull, and your work should look like this. Now I'm going to let the first petal drop, and I'm going to hang on to the second petal. I'm going to pick up a third petal. I'm going to hold it as best I can. And because our thread is coming out the second petal, I want to come out the back and out the front of the third petal. I'm going to pick up a size 8, and I'm going to come down the second petal. So just like that. And then I'm going to come up from the front to the back to the front of the third leaf. I'm going to pull a little tight. So you want to keep your tension tight. I'm going to let the 2 petals drop. I'm going to pick up a 4th petal, and because my thread is coming out the front of the third petal, I'm going to pick up a size 8, and I'm going to go down the front to the back of the 4th petal. Okay, and then I'm going to take my thread, I'm going to go from the back to the front of the third petal. I'm going to go through the size 8 and down the back of the 4th petal. Okay. I'm going to let those 3 petals drop. I'm going to pick up my 5th petal. And because our thread is coming out the back of the 4th petal, I'm going to go from the back of the front to the front of the 5th petal. I'll pick up the size 8, and I will go down the front to the back of the 4th petal. Just like that. And I will come back up the 5th petal. If you did decide you wanted to use a 5th petal, if you only wanted to do a 5-petal flower, stop right here, wait for me to put on the 6th petal, and I will show you how to join them. In the meantime, if you're doing a 6-petal, follow me for more. So now our thread is coming out the front of the 5th petal. We're going to pick up our size 8. We're going to go down the front of the 6th petal. We'll come back to front on the 5th petal. We'll go through the size 8 and down the front to the back of the 6th petal. There we are. And that's what it should look like, more or less. And now we're going to join the 6th petal, or if you did 5, the 5th petal with the 1st petal. And because our thread is coming out the back of the 6th, we're going to take our needle and go from back to front on the 1st petal. I'm doing it like this so you guys could see. And then I'm going to pick up my last 8-0 and I'm going to go down the front to back of the 6th petal. I'm going to make that loop. And there. And that's what it should look like. It looks a little wonky and a little weird, and it's going to be loose, but that's okay. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to go up a flower petal, and we're going to come out the top of the flower petal. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the 8-0, and then I'm going to pick up an 11-0, or if you're using an 8-0, you can do that. And then I'm going to go through the next 8-0 seed bead. I'm going to pick up an 11, and I'm going to go through the next 8-0. Now watch your thread, because it'll get caught in the petals, and that's what you don't want. And then as you go, you're going to pull tight, and your work should start to cup up your little flower, and that's what we're looking for. And then watch your threads. And then I'm going to pick up the 11 and go and do this all around. And once we've reached the back, or the last 8-0, I'm going to pull tight. And I want to bring, because you can still see it's a little bit loose, I want to bring my needle around a couple times. This is why I said 6-pound test or higher. If you did this with nylon, this flower would be so floppy. Trust me, I tried. And so, just doing this, and just keep your tension tight. And then once you get let's figure out, this is coming out here, out of this petal, perfect. And once you get to the petal where your tail is coming out of, go down there and grab both and pull. Don't want to pull too tight, but you want to pull enough, and then tie it. And that's that. If you want to end your flower here, you can do that. And there's your flower. You can end it here if you want, which is what I did with this one. But if you want it to be a little more stiff, I like to tie it off like that because it gives the shape to the front. But you can also work the back and go here. We'll go through maybe the 8-0. And then down here, like this. And then give it a little bit more strength in the back too. And then we'll go through some of the seed beads. And then we'll go back down here, just like this, and then up here, like this, and then we'll come back down there where our tail is. And then we'll tie it, we'll just pull and tie it again. Now, like I said, if you're good with this, you can stop here. If you want to add this, we're going to work from the back, and I'll show you really quickly how to do that. I'm going to grab my black seed beads, and I'm going to pick up one, let me see, 1, 2, 3, let's see if 4 works on this one. So my tail is coming out, the petal in the back. I'm just going to go through here and do that. So if you want to make, if you want to continue doing that all around, and then we'll go through this, and then we'll come down this flower petal here, and then you would pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go back through this petal, just like that. And then you would go through the beads, and so you would kind of do this. It's almost like a back stitch. And then my petal. Mind your thread. And you would kind of just do that all around. And then we'll come back through here. And then we'll pick up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll go up there. And then we'll go through our size 8. And then we'll come down here. And then we'll backtrack. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll come back up through this petal over here. We'll go through the seed bead and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come up here. And then we'll go through the seed bead, down that hole. We'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll come back up here, and our last stitch will be back through the hole, back down the back, where we're going to meet our tail once again and do our final. There we go. I'll just tie that off. I'm going to do one last tight pull. We're going to cut it. And there you are. Oh, how pretty. I love the pink and the black. That looks really pretty. And there are our flowers. You can see it's got a nice little, You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You don't have to do the bead back if you don't want to. It's just there if you want to attach it, I guess. But like I said, there's no reason why you can't just go down the hole out the back to beading foundation and then come back up and do it that way, just on the leaves or the petals. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. These were really fun to make, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.